Welcome to Across Africa, our weekly look at stories from across the continent. I'm Georgia Calvin-Smith, and this week, Burundi's banned commercial motorcycle taxis and bicycle cabs in its biggest city. Authorities say that they're too dangerous for Bujumbura's roads, but locals face a struggle moving through the city centre. Also, cannabis to go. Uganda's only licensed cannabis farm grows only for export, as use of its crop is still illegal in the country. There are calls, though, for more permits to be granted to smaller scale growers. And orphaned and injured primates are nursed back to health in eastern DR Congo. Many bear the physical and psychological scars of often brutal encounters with poachers. But first, rickshaws, motorcycle taxis and bicycle cabs have been banned in Burundi's biggest city. Authorities say that they're too dangerous for Bujumbura's roads, but drivers say that it'll put thousands out of work.
Long queues formed outside this Bujumbura bus stop as hundreds of Burundians desperately tried to catch a ride to work after a citywide ban on rickshaws, motorcycle taxis and bicycle cabs came into effect on Monday. In the economic capital, where these vehicles represented the main mode of transportation, drivers were left scratching their heads at the decision to take away their livelihoods.
This news has really upset us as we drive these vehicles to make a living. They were helping us feed our families.
Burundi's interior minister last month accused rickshaws and motorcycles of being responsible for a majority of fatal traffic accidents. Shortly after, the government announced plans to ban these vehicles, as well as privately owned bicycles and scooters from Bujumbura's city center. The unpopular measure is likely to cause traffic congestion in a city where public transportation is lacking, yet authorities appeared determined to enforce the new law.
I don't see the point of contesting this. There is nothing I can do. A lot of people will suffer, but we cannot change anything.
The new measure will leave an estimated 20,000 rickshaws and motorcycle taxis out of commission, potentially impacting the daily commute of over 600,000 Burundians.
Severe droughts in East Africa and the worsening effects of climate change are moving the continent further away from water security. Scientists and policymakers discussed challenges at the World Water Forum, which was held in Africa for the first time. The conversations at Dakar highlighted the importance of investment in communities' access to water. Infrastructure can make all the difference. In Cape Town, dozens of neighbourhoods, many in townships, face acute shortages. Shirley Sitman tells us more.
These Cape Town residents never thought they would have to walk around their neighbourhood searching for water. But that is what they have been doing since their own taps have turned dry.
We've got no choice but to wake up in the morning and try to fill your buckets as much as you can.
They have faced water shortages before, like 4 years ago during the historic drought. This is what water reservoirs looked like at the time. Now, the same reservoirs are full. Yet some areas have little access to water.
It is actually worse. It is worse now. Because we knew, at that time, we knew that we're sitting with a problem here, with a water problem. But it is actually worse than that, because we do have water and we know that.
In the past 25 years, Cape Town's population has doubled, but not the volume of the city's reservoirs. Water pipes and infrastructures are also reportedly in a bad state. But the official in charge of water distribution said the city is not to blame.
During the period of COVID-19, at least 70 new illegal informal settlements had been erected across our city. And the city then is expected to provide basic services to those settlements, which is difficult to do.
Those settlements are in part due to COVID. People who have lost their jobs and homes under lockdown built shacks in unauthorized areas. The crisis, though, goes far beyond those settlements. Some 30 neighborhoods have little running water.
Uganda's first cannabis farm opened in 2018, and it's just expanded into supplying the European market. Yet growing or consuming cannabis is illegal in Uganda. Only one company has been granted a farming permit so far. Its export crop is only for medicinal use, and some are calling for smaller-scale farmers to be given a look into the lucrative industry. Our correspondent reports.
This is the only Ugandan farm licensed to produce medical cannabis. Here, hundreds of the plant species grow on a 30,000 square meter area in a highly controlled environment.
We will harvest in the next 3 weeks, and this will be particularly going to Israel as well.
The project started after an Israeli and Ugandan partner teamed up to form the company Industrial Globus, through which they began business in 2018. The founders say that the conditions in Uganda were favorable.
Uganda being high altitude, but also at the same time at the equator. No winter, no freezing. There is no prolonged sun. So you basically have the right ingredients for this particular crop. A well-qualified human resource, well-trained, skilled, and cheap.
More than 100 employees from the region work here. For Anna, who studied agriculture in Kampala, it was her first job.
See other people I work with, they were just at home seated. So when this company came into Uganda, they got an opportunity to work with us here. They have got good homes, they have got projects from the earnings they are getting from this farm.
To this day, the planting and consumption of cannabis remains illegal for other companies and individuals. Experts question this monopoly.
We've handled about 25 applications of local and international farms that would want to have licenses to commercially produce, research, and grow marijuana. Unfortunately, none of them has been licensed yet. And if Uganda wants to achieve middle income status economy, marijuana legalization for smallholder farmers and distribution across the value chain is the way to go.
The Industrial Globus Group exports up to 5 tons of cannabis a year, and the numbers could go even higher as demand in Europe and North America grows by the year.
Now, the climate and soil of Eswatini makes it ripe for chili cultivation. One Colombian woman seized an opportunity to turn up the entrepreneurial heat by setting up a company that makes hot sauces. Her products are now exported around the world. Our team tells us more.
Claudia Castellanos has fallen in love with the small mountainous kingdom of Eswatini. She left her native Colombia for good to start marketing chili sauce here in 2010. She supplies work to more than 60 farmers, 80% of whom are women.
It is still a very patriarchal society, but I realized very early on that women are the pillars of society.
Chilies grow well here and sell at a healthy market price.
Guess what? I help the needy. I bought myself a new Henke stove. Yes, out of this.
Claudia also relies on the support of a local NGO that trains her producers in permaculture techniques. They're encouraging the wider use of organic farming.
There's sort of a perception that organic produce is for a certain class of people, but that's also kind of driven by the cost of it, the retail cost of it. So if we had more organic producers, then the prices would be more affordable, making it more appealing to everyone.
The peppers are also bottled locally. Claudia has about 20 employees. Here, all the sauces are made by hand. Production has almost doubled in just 2 years, but staying true to her artisanal roots is still a priority for Claudia.
I think a lot of people in the world want to know what they're eating, where the products come from, and who makes them. So I think this part of Black Mamba will never change, even if we have to mechanize some processes to be able to grow.
Global sales of organic products in Africa has increased 5-fold in the past 20 years and are expected to grow much more.
Endangered gorillas, chimpanzees and other apes are being given some TLC in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Staff take in wounded animals, many of whom have been rescued from poachers, and nurse the traumatized primates back to health.
The Kahuzi-Biega National Park in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo stretches over 6,000 square kilometers. 250 eastern lowland gorillas live among its forests and grasslands. The park is home to the largest known population of the primate, now classified as critically endangered.
In the Bonane family, there are 4 babies. They live in the wild. The gorillas only need security, that's it. If they have security, the gorillas grow very easily and very quickly.
But security is a problem. Many armed groups operate in the region around the park. 2 civil wars have decimated the wildlife populations here since the reserve's creation in 1970. On its edge, the Lyro Primate Rehabilitation Centre cares for injured animals.
We try to feed them here at least once a day from 9 o'clock. We arrive here at 6:30 a.m. We give them the meatballs, the bananas, and if they are sick animals, that's when we take the opportunity to give them medicine.
The sanctuary is home to more than 100 chimpanzees, as well as some bonobos and baboons. Most ended up here after rangers confiscated them from poachers. This monkey's arm had to be amputated. Recovery can take weeks or months, depending on the severity of the injury.
First of all, we try to put everything in place to save the animal's life. If it's a case of injury or another serious case, we can start by looking at how to stop the bleeding and then anesthetize the animal, give it stitches, and bring it back to its cage.
The cages are cramped after the vast spaces of the forest. But since November 2020, not a single animal has been released back into the wild because of ongoing fighting.
Well, that's it for Across Africa for now. Thanks for joining us, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.